Welcome to the S.O.A.P.
Welcome everyone to another episode of this S.O.A.P. My name is Daniel. I'm joined by both Aaron and Mike.
Hey.
Hello.
We're just starting this one with a general meetup just to get us back into the season. We are a little bit later recording than what we normally be. Personally, I've had a few things on, renovations in the house, a few other projects and that have all been done. But we have been recording some video content and that kind of stuff as well. But let's find out what's been happening with everyone. Aaron, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a new year, obviously, so got Christmas and New Year's and all of that fun stuff out of the way.
Any presents?
Yeah, I got some stuff. Not much really gaming related this year, though. I've had some unfortunate problems with my health, which have led to me not being able to do as much gaming as I want to, and when I can do gaming, it generally turns into a pain fest in my wrists. But anyway, let's not dwell on that. I have been doing some retro gaming, some point-and-click stuff, some dungeon crawlers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the roguelike genre, where sort of like 2D Diablo, you know, where you just go around dungeons and get loot and stuff and kill things.
Yeah.
I've been really stuck into those at the moment. And what else have I been doing? Oh, my arcade machine is coming along quite nicely. I've been working on that very slowly. I'm building as you probably know, if you've listened to any time I've talked on this this podcast, I've told everyone that I'm building a retro arcade machine powered by a Raspberry Pi. I've managed to get some more bits for that, and it's slowly coming together. But other than that, just trying to keep myself healthy and keep myself going, so I can spend those few moments when I can gaming. And, what else did I get? Oh, I got Battlefield.
Which one?
The World War I Battlefield. I'm quite enjoying that. And Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think Origin had a sale, so I stocked up.
I didn't mind Battlefront 2. I thought...
No, it's pretty cool, actually. I like the story. I'm working through the story. As you may or may not know, I don't play well with others, so I don't play a lot of multiplayer. This is probably why I've kind of fallen off the Call of Duty train fairly hard, because what are the campaigns? About 2 hours, and then that's it, unless you want to play online and have your sexuality questioned by an 8-year-old. Yeah, not really my cup of tea.
What do they say nowadays? I heard somewhere that someone was saying, you know what, Fortnite, everyone bags on Fortnite, but you know what?
Yeah,
all the kids are on Fortnite now, so everywhere else is nice and quiet, so you don't have any more kids running around screaming obscenities at you because they're all on Fortnite and they're full of other Fortnite kids screaming at each other as well. So, thanks Fortnite, you've taken the kids away. Good job.
But yeah, my son even says the same thing because he plays a lot of Dota, and it's gotten heaps less toxic, if you can believe that, since Fortnite dropped. So
no, Dota is always going to be one of the most toxic places. One of the greatest games ever made, but also
one of the most toxic.
Yeah, that community is definitely a very harsh and brutal one there.
But yeah, so that's me in a nutshell right at the moment. So if my health doesn't get any better, we might have to look at some of the new sort of disability controllers that are coming out and things like that. Microsoft's got a really cool looking, I don't know what it's called, the Access for Everyone controller. Have you guys seen that? The big board that you can plug like big buttons and foot pedals and cool stuff into, so people with less mobility can still play. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting because they've got, it's like expandable, so you can keep adding devices and expanding on it and that kind of stuff. So you can really cater it to someone and what they need. I'm very excited to see what they do more with that, and I'm actually keen to do an episode on what's happening there.
Well, you never know. I might have one soon. Not quite that bad yet, everyone. So don't stress out about me. I've just got some muscle problems. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. But that's about me in a nutshell. Old school games, building an old school thing, going to work to pay for all the bits for my old school thing, and obviously buying games on sale. Battlefield 1, I actually really am enjoying the storyline at the moment, the way it jumps around from one person to another, and you sort of get that whole experience, minus the historical accuracy, I guess.
What about you, Mike? What have you been up to?
I have been playing a couple of games. Lately I've been playing Skyrim, back in the old days of Skyrim. Just revisiting a couple of characters, trying to finish off things, maybe get some trophies, and more or less give a final completion of the game.
How close are you to the Platinum Trophy?
Oh, I don't know. You keep saying I'm close, but I feel like I'm at 70% or something or other.
It's not a Platinum Trophy. It's an Iron Dagger Trophy.
I don't know what it fucking is. It's just I want to complete the damn thing, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. Now I have been playing before that. I did that hunt the Hitman. You know how that was Hitman on sale or auction.
They were pretty cool in their day.
They were pretty cool back in the day. Yep. And so I did a bit of nostalgia, played a few missions, and then died. And was like, well, fuck that. I'm over it. And then a bit of Call of Duty 3 or Black Ops or whatever you want to call it. Just playing a bit of like the zombie games. There's a little arcade game in the bonus content.
With the monkey?
With the monkey. With the monkey. More an ape. Sorry. Correction. Before it goes, I'm an ape. It was a big old Russian ape. I wonder how it would sound. Russian ape. So that was a bit cool. It was a top-down little arcade game that I played with Dan a couple of times with it, and you'd be running around, and you could switch into first-person player, which was kind of cool. And then,
it's crazy when you do the switch because it's a proper top-down, and anyone who plays a top-down game knows exactly the style of play for it. And there's no like up, down, left, right, all that. It's just top down, you point and shoot. But then it goes to first person and suddenly you get all the normal FPS style, to it. You can actually aim at heads as opposed to just their bodies and things like that. And that really changes it up. But it also means you can't see everything coming at you. So on one side you get more headshots, but on the other side you're more likely to die.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a good break from the regular zombies that kind of become stale after a while. And you're like, yeah, give me something different. Give me something old school. And
how long can they go with zombies? We've had a lot of iterations of it. And World War II, I thought, did really well with zombies. But classic. We see with the new Black Ops that it's, Battle Royale is the new go-to for it. That's all people want. So the question is zombies, close to dying?
I think everyone's going to expect you're always going to want zombies in the games. I think it'll stay around, but it won't be as good.
It'll be a zombie battle royale.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. What if maybe people were zombies? They get to play zombies. Who did that?
Not a bad idea.
Killing Floor. Number 2 had the option of being zombies. Remember, Dan? Remember those days?
Oh yeah, when you could have the mode where it's people versus the zombies and that.
Yeah.
That went all right. Killing Floor 2 is still going okay at the moment. It had on PlayStation a free month. Had a free month on the PlayStation Network as part of the PlayStation Plus, and that really built up the community for it.
Okay.
That's when you and me were playing, Mike.
Yeah.
And then I found some other guys. We did trophy hunting and that. We got the platinum and that. But recently, the trophy hunting group I'm with, some of them were getting some extra trophies. And so other people joined in and they're going for the platinum for the first time in that. So there's definitely still some people playing it. It's not as packed as it was before. I guess that's part of the problem with PlayStation Plus is that so many games keep coming out that people keep transitioning from one game to another. People don't hang around with the same kind of game for it. But yeah, that's still going strong at the moment. What else, Mike?
So I've got my daughter with me, and we do a bit of Nintendo 64. Not lately, but every now we used to. Originally started her off in Mario Kart, and then she jumped across to Diddy Kong Racing, and then she's a bit like me, she jumps around. She jumped into the Smash Brothers, and then, she'll go back to Diddy Kong. And then, so she's a bit, yeah.
So how did this start? Did you introduce her to gaming, or was she like, I'm interested in this kind of stuff, or?
Correct. No, I was playing it one time. She's like, what's this? So I said, well, this is Nintendo 64.
Parenting done right, Mike. That's
apparently it's the bee's knees to her, which is always funny to watch. And they're like, oh, let's play Pokemon, Smash Brothers and stuff. So they know a bit of it, and they do that every now and then.
Yeah,
and it's a bit of fun. I'm not sure whether or not I'll bring out the GoldenEye yet. Maybe when she's a bit older.
How old is she, Mike?
She's 7.
Oh, I was going to say, don't bring out Conker's Bad Fur Day either.
No, I haven't got that actually. I missed that one.
Oh, it's great.
And I tried getting to play Banjo-Kazooie. She comes like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, you need to go on adventures. And then she'll kind of just go in a circle and then like roll. And I'm like, yeah, I need to roll. I'm like, internally, I'm screaming at you right now.
She's going to find this years from now and just be like, fuck, my dad hated me.
Yes.
Oh, no,
Stop
don't say that.
Making me yell. She's not a big fan of Banjo, but she likes some Mario Kart, and she likes Diddy Kong Racing.
What about Donkey Kong 64 with the cool rap?
I don't have that game.
It's not cool, Dan.
It was the cool. It is still one of the greatest raps that's ever been done.
No.
Has anyone got that? Can I borrow it? Has anyone got it?
I might have it somewhere.
Okay, you have a look, please. Because she likes her favorite characters from Mario Kart. Well, from Mario, whatever you want to call it, Nintendo is Yoshi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, and maybe the mushroom guy,
Toad.
But she's like, fuck. Well, she doesn't say fuck Peach, but she's like, I don't like Peach. I'm like, what do you mean? She's a princess and stuff. I don't like her. I hate her. She's poo or whatever. And I was like, oh, all right then. I said, what about Mario? Now we've got a friend. I've got a mate of mine called Mario, and so the joke is, well, we call him Mario, and I was Luigi. She's like, I don't care for Mario, and I don't care for Luigi, and I was like, but you know Mario. She's like, what? So I kind of try and my jokes go over her head, but as they are right now. So, yeah, she doesn't care for them, but she likes Bowser, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong. So, it works when I get her presents for, the little figurines.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was on sale, EB has them, sometimes I have them on sale. The little figurines you stick on your Nintendo DS or whatever, and they can interact with the game, but I just bought them for her, and she's like, oh.
Oh, amiibos.
If that's what you want to call them, then fine.
Yeah.
So.
What about the newer consoles? Has she dabbled in, PS4, PS3, that kind of stuff? Or?
Yes and no. She watches. I've put the Raymond Legends game on my PS4, and she's watched me play it. And I said, "Do you want to play?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, all right, then I'll just play." And she watches. We haven't done that in a while. PS3, look, kids these days, she knows how to get onto Netflix and Foxtel straight away. So she doesn't even know about, I bought a few games for her for the PS3, but she kind of was like, Angry Birds. I don't want Angry Birds. So I was like, well, it's just a game anyway. And it was kind of...
Does she Minecraft, Mike, or is that not cool anymore?
No, she does not play Minecraft. My nephew plays Minecraft. He's gaga for Minecraft. Whenever they're together, he's like, let's play Minecraft. She's like, what is Minecraft? I don't want to play Minecraft. And I'm like, you don't need to know what Minecraft is. We don't play Minecraft. And so they don't do that.
I enjoy Minecraft. I like it. I still play it.
You also like No Man's Sky. Don't Don't talk about quality.
Do you want to tell me? Do you want me to sit you down and tell you about the whole new updates that we've had since you've been off the air?
What, can you like find unicorns in space?
More or less, yeah. Now, it's awesome. It's now No Man's Sky's next. And then it's going to be Beyond, and I think there's going to be a VR update. It's going to be fucking sick in VR, mind you.
Yeah, 20 years after launch. Tell me what's new about it. Tell me why, if I hated it on launch.
It's got proper multiplayer now. It's got heaps more variety. It's got more quests. It's got more stuff. It's more robust. And I mean, look, come on. You got to give the developers props. It's a 3-year-old game, and they're still bringing out free updates to it. Now,
they're still in recovery.
At least they had a go. Like, how many other developers have brought out a broken piece of shit and just went, buy it? I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, by the way.
Well, if you could sum it up in one sentence or one update, what's the reason to go back now if you didn't like it before?
It's a full playable game. There you go.
Yeah, Dan giggled a bit there.
Yeah, he did. He giggled because he knows it's true. But anyway, we're not here to debate the merits of one of the greatest space exploration games of all time. We're here to have a chat about what we've been doing. And
Empire at War.
Ooh.
Star Wars.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Knights of the Old Republic.
No, just there was a thing on Facebook the other day, and there's a guy was saying, I want to make a game for Warhammer, and what would be the best games, and what would you guys recommend? And so I put my 2 cents worth in, and I said, you either make one like Skyrim, where you have all the people walk around and do first-person kind of thing, but with the third-person, Skyrim style, or you do Star Wars Empire at War, which had the space battles, and then the ground battles, which you could start from planets and then go and then attack that world, whatever. I think that would be really cool to bring into a Warhammer theme and the 40K, and people, it'd be a good way to get people into the hobby and not have them go, oh, I don't know what to do. But you're like, oh, that's that I had from the game and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah.
And that's you, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. I was distracted by my cat and my wife. Oh, yeah. No, I totally agree that if you're going to do a decent 40K game, it should be like Skyrim.
Yep.
Well, it probably is a Skyrim mod.
Ooh.
I think there's a Skyrim mod for everything else. If you can get like Thomas the Tank Engine and stuff, like it's one of the most moddable games. Did you actually see the new mod? Well, which one? But there's a Skyrim with friends. You can now multiplayer the main quest line. Yeah, my son's looking into it. So up to like 5 people or something, and you can all play through the main quest line together, which is kind of cool.
Problem with that is whenever you mod Skyrim, you break at least one quest line with it. And I remember I changed like this sky to be more like a higher definition texture or something like that, and that broke quest lines. Just that alone. I wasn't touching anything to do with anything, just a higher texture on one of the things literally broke the game.
It's a Bethesda game. Come on.
Well, I mean, Fallout 76, that's tanking pretty hard.
It's tanking very hard. I think it's tanked.
I almost bought the collector's edition of it for...
Why?
300.
For the Pip-Boy?
Yeah, no, for the helmet. So the helmet
and
edition,
the shitty bag, apparently, too.
Yeah, there's a bag. But there's a helmet, and the helmet does look pretty nice for it. But that edition was about 300 plus. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but...
Way too much.
It was a lot of money, but I was like, wow, helmet. If it's a good game, then super want it. I mean, Fallout, it's hard to, for them to make a bad game or whatever. And then I played the beta and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely bailing on this. But I actually saw maybe a week ago, maybe not even that long, EB Games had it for $75 for the helmet edition.
I think there was a store, it wasn't in Australia, it was overseas. It might have been in Germany where literally it was like their version of EB Games. If you bought absolutely anything, they just gave you a free copy of Fallout 76.
Yep.
And it's just like, just get this shit off our shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to play that just at least once time, just to see what it's like.
It's not very good.
Just imagine Fallout with no storyline, no life, no anything. You just run around and you might run into a robot that tells you to go fix some water that's got nuclear radiation in it, Like there is no feel to it. You leave the vault and you have to repair everything. And like so much of the early on was just like test the water levels or just kill a generic whatever. And it was just, with friends, I can see that being a little bit more fun, but you shouldn't need other people to make a game fun. It should just be fun by itself, and then you have more fun with your friends. I couldn't find any life to that game. And I've seen like some of the end content, which is cool that people are doing it. But again, it's not exciting. It's not what you look for in a Fallout game or that. I think that's going to hurt them quite a lot. And, it's
going to hurt the franchise too, I think.
Well, yeah, the franchise is hurt, but so's like the company's reputation. Look at BioWare these days. BioWare's taken a huge hit. They used to be, the top tier of whenever they make a game, like they can't go wrong. And once they did Dragon Age Origins, the very first in the series, it was just like, wow, these guys are the best by so far. And then so quickly after that, they had Dragon Age 2, and that's where people were like, oh, that's really quick. And then the game was just like, well, you've actually made the game worse somehow, like going this way. But people were like, oh, whatever. And then they did Inquisition, and look, they aimed big, fell short, still made an okay game. I played a lot of it. They definitely needed more in it, but it was still good. And some of the DLC actually was really good as well. So it wasn't a bad game at all. But I remember with Andromeda, like because we even did the unboxing of that, and the unboxing, the car is nice and all that. But the controversy around that game, which it is a good game. For anyone who hasn't played it, you'll get it really cheap. It's like $8 to get a copy of it. It's a really, really good game. But they really destroyed their credibility with the release and how many issues they had on launch. And that killed so much of it. And the multiplayer is not a really, top-level multiplayer. But people really enjoy it. It's wave-based defense and that kind of stuff. And it's fun. But they killed their credibility so much that, all these people left and were left like, the whole, Mass Effect franchise is in doubt because of that one game. And half of that was to do with Anthem, with people wanting, to put more resources in that kind of stuff to make sure that was so successful. And that left Andromeda short. And when the launch was so bad, they actually pulled people from Anthem back to it to fix it. And they fixed it very quickly, which just shows if you manage your resources right, then, you're not going to have these problems. But now we've seen Anthem drop, and it's also, taking quite a hit in the ratings and that. A lot of people are saying there's not enough end content. There's all these bugs. The betas that they had issues with loading. The very first mission I did in the beta, I actually managed to break. And Mike, you were playing over here as well. You broke it as soon as you started as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I broke it.
And again, that's a game that like has all the bases for being a great game, but they're not doing enough with what they've got, and they're not polishing it off. And so, as a studio, what used to be one of the top level, Mass Effect, the original trilogy, Dragon Age, that kind of stuff is now kind of under question as to would you ever buy one of their games after, so much shite has been released. So, yeah, I think it's something you got to really watch out for with a developer and that. And, yeah, Bethesda also taking that hit. Elder Scrolls 6 has been announced as a question of will they take a hit because of everything that else has taken a hit?
Oh, look, listen, you could make Elder Scrolls 6, right, and you could basically, take medical waste and put it in a box and slap Elder Scrolls 6 on it, and they're going to sell a zillion copies of it. You know that.
Yeah, but Mass Effect was the same way, and
they sold 1 million copies of Andromeda. That doesn't say they got played very often, but they still sold them.
Yeah, I just think that Bethesda are also on the same brink of as BioWare, and if both companies aren't careful, in a couple of years we won't see them.
Well, Bethesda's got Doom to fall back on. It's got Elder Scrolls Online. It's got a couple of other, I guess, franchises that might prop it up if the new Skyrim or Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't do well. But seriously, at this point, Elder Scrolls 6 is somewhere up there with Half-Life 3 now. people are going to hold it in such high regard because Skyrim was such a juggernaut and still is, and Mike's still playing it, as he said. So like it's going to be a big act to follow, and I mean they could pretty much reskin Skyrim and everyone would be pretty happy with that. I know I would.
They've had long enough to do it. Like it's not going to take too much to really build that into a game. It's just Bethesda, a company that needs to learn to polish off their game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doom is like holding strong. I'm very keen for the next Doom.
Oh, hell yeah.
All they need to do is make the same game again and add a couple of extra things, and they've got an instant win.
Absolutely. Look, I'd definitely buy that and play it to death, as I've done with the first one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the first one is it was so bland. There was so little to that game, but it was just so fun that it didn't matter. It didn't matter that you were just looking at the same environment over and over. It didn't matter that the storyline was almost non-existent and you had freaking the evil guy from Inspector Gadget doing all the voices there for some reason.
But I mean, the first one was no different to that, like the way back in the Mist of Time.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. And the new Doom the music makes it as well.
The music,
they really did.
Just jumping from enemy to enemy, like you run up, you punch them, you shoot the next one, you punch one. Like it really flowed, and that made that so much fun.
And then cutting dudes in half was my favourite. I giggled like a schoolgirl the first time I got the chainsaw.
Yeah, not just the little ones, the big ones. That's
the big guys. Yeah. Yeah, I love that game. I mean, we could probably talk games all night, but we haven't heard what you've been up to, Dan.
Oh. Well, as people who follow us on YouTube have probably found out by the time this actually goes out, I managed to today shred my fingers. So
how'd you do that?
Doing like very complicated stuff like opening a window. I was opening a window, my hand slipped. It must have run into, I don't know, there is a crack on the window, so maybe it slammed into that. I don't know. But 2 of my knuckles and half a fingernail on a different finger, all gone, blood everywhere.
Nice.
So you're saying that you have the same disability that I have, but instead of computers and technology, you have it with manual labour and stuff.
Well, the difference is this is a once-off for me, whereas the amount of cursing you've done just tonight alone, let alone every other time we've done a podcast, kind of says that maybe a little bit different. But yeah, it was a very special moment.
So you had the window set on nightmare difficulty then, did you?
Apparently so, because
I
didn't open it when I did this. So you
didn't even get it open. You just managed to
later on, but
mangle your shit and then bleed everywhere, and yet no cooling breeze came through the window.
Yeah, well, I was actually opening the window to do the recording for our Sekiro video. So Sekiro has come out. Wanted to do the unboxing for that. Everyone being at work, so I was like, I'll just wing it and do it myself. No one to look at whether we got the right camera angle or anything like that. I was just like, I'm just going to jump in and do it. If it's shit, I just won't release it. Easy enough done. So I was like, set it all up. I had the box on the table and that, and I was like, I know the room echoes a little bit, so I was like, I'll open the window a little bit. That'll alleviate that. And then, next thing, I've lost 3 fingers, and right before I did the video. So I covered in Band-Aids. That made it a little bit harder. And then, Aaron, you've seen the footage for the video already. And
I have, yes.
Me struggling to actually pull things out of the box. Although I will argue for anyone who does watch it that, they are pretty solid in there. I still don't have the coins out of the box to this day. So please don't hold that one against me. But
that's all good.
That was a good collector's edition, and the game really, really fun. It's very interesting that they've changed some of the things from Dark Souls. Dark Souls is notorious for kill a couple of guys, get a bit of experience, you bank it, and then you level up, and you try and be as cautious and save it all and all that kind of stuff. This game, I guess, I don't know, they wanted to change the pace a little bit for the game because they made it a lot quicker and more flowing. So you still die heaps, but there's no grind. You don't save up all your souls and that. There's only a couple of skill points you can get. You don't actually get levels to make you stronger. There's a very interesting change on how the game's done, and there's no co-op at all. So when you come up against like a boss or whatever, like you're just fucked. There's no one, there's no one to save you. Like, I loved the old days of like in Dark Souls, you'd go in, find someone who is actually good at the game. They'd kill the boss for you, then you keep playing the game. Whereas this one kind of forces you to actually be a little bit better in that with it. But
you've got to get good.
You do have to get good. They've made it more flowing though. Your character's a little bit more nimble, a bit more jumping and that kind of stuff. You got the prosthetic arm, which you can upgrade for extra abilities and that kind of stuff. Pretty enough looking game. For them, it's probably the prettiest looking game that they've made. I still think that they always set it a little bit below the graphical nature of other things. And the download size, tells you, that it is very different. It's like maybe like a fifth the size of Battlefront 2, just to give you an idea. But it's a really, really good game. It's an interesting take. They've put a lot more storyline into this one, which is something that's not in the Dark Souls. And I guess part of that is cutting out things like co-op and that kind of stuff. They're able to focus a lot more on, that aspect of it. But still keeping the same things. It's still essentially a Dark Souls game that just done very differently. So that's been pretty exciting. As I said before, I've been doing the renovations. That chews up a lot of my time. Completely gutted a bathroom, and me and Mike actually. Shout out to Mike. He's almost half asleep at this point. But yeah, me and Mike have gutted that bathroom, rebuilt it. I got Mike to do the hard stuff. Mike has a background in labouring, not in computers.
Carpentry, thank you very much.
Oh, carpentry.
Carpentry, thank you very much.
The important thing is not in computers.
Unless it was a wooden computer.
Abacus.
But then Mike could use it and it wouldn't work anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, so I did the renovations. I'm still tidying up the last bits of that, but
it looks really cool, by the way. I have seen the new bathroom and it's a vast improvement over the old 70s
the
bathroom that Dan did have.
Cream and brown, just the most disgusting colours known to mankind. It was good that it worked, but I was so glad to get rid of that and actually move on and start a new chapter of bathing in a clean white bathroom now.
He's leveled up his bathroom.
Apart from that, just doing a bit of recording in that. We had Aaron and Delphine do a couple of videos we're yet to release. Hopefully by the time this comes out, they're out. If not, they should be out soon. So that's exciting. And yeah, not too much else. I've been playing a bit of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, actually. I went back to that. For anyone who likes the Dragon Ball universe, you get to play as all the different characters and that. I will say, though, the Platinum Trophy for that is one of the biggest grinds I've ever had to do because it takes out the skill and makes it all random. It's an RNG, pretty much, styled game with all the skills that you have to get are all RNG for it, so random number generation. So it's a chance on a chance on a chance for it to actually drop what you need. And then you have to multiply that by 100 or 1,000 times. So that one drags that one down a bit. But I did play The Surge, speaking of Dark Souls style games and that. Have you guys seen The Surge?
I have not, no.
Mike?
I saw the first one.
The second one's not out yet, so that's a good start. The Surge is essentially Dark Souls done by a different studio, but instead of, I guess, fantasy or medieval kind of style, it's robots. So you're in a factory. You start in a wheelchair, and you get a suit that allows you to walk around. And then that suit obviously allows you to fight people and things like that. And so, kind of like in terms of Dead Space, where you had to dismember, the necromorphs. In this game, you have to attack arms, legs, body, or head to get certain parts to drop, and that's how you get all your upgrades and your new armor pieces and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds cool. Yeah,
it was a really nice touch on. They, instead of just copying a game like Dark Souls, they had their own idea about it, and that was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that. And they did what I find is really good for people who want to start a series and, really go on with it, in that it's only set in this one like warehousey kind of facility for it. So the environments, they're different, but overall you wouldn't say that they're a huge variety in environments. But they kept it simple and that worked. And now in the second game, they're now taking it outside the facility. So you got open, grassy areas and things like that. So I really like that they started small and now they can really expand on that. And I think a lot of people trying to do new games really need to take that into consideration, is start small, focus on what you are doing, and then expand out once you actually have the success of whatever you're doing, as opposed to, just throwing everything in there, having a little bit of everything and not really much of anything.
Okay, I'll have to check it out maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely on there if you want to. You'll probably break a few controllers doing it, but it is worth it. And anyone who likes Dark Souls, I would highly recommend The Surge.
Do people actually like Dark Souls, or is it kind of like, more that you just have to play it and beat it? And, it just kicks your ass so many times. You're like, I hate you, but I'm going to best you now.
The thing about Dark Souls, Sekiro is the same. If anything, it's more like this, is that it's not about making your character stronger or, how hard the game is or that kind of stuff. It's that you actually learn whilst you're playing it. It's no longer, I'm running along and do I have the quickest reaction time to do something? It's, I'm running along, I know he's over there, I do this, and then I go run over here. I know there's going to be 2 people there, so I'll do this, and then I go over there. And so the first time you run along, you have no idea, and it's exciting because you're like, oh shit, there's someone over there. And then, they kill you. Second time, you run past them and you're like, I know you're there, do this, cool. All right, I'm past there, now I move on. All right, now I've come across them, they've killed me. But the whole time you're learning, you're building this better skill. And then you find that if you go back to it, so if you started a brand new game, what did take you, an hour or two suddenly becomes a quick 5-minute thing. So it's not so much that your character just gets super strong, it's that you actually learn the game.
Just like an old school game before we had saves and, you couldn't switch off the Nintendo. A game like that good one like that would be Contra on the Nintendo. Because it was always the same, but it was super hard. And you had to learn the positions of everyone. And as soon as you could learn it, you could run through it and then you'd get to the next bit and then you'd die, but then you'd know how to do it. So I guess it's a extension of that.
Yep, that's exactly it. So it's not the difficulty factor. I mean, that's always a good bragging, right? But it's for me, it's rewarding when you actually achieve something. You finally get past something that you've been struggling for so long that, I feel like I've actually achieved something. Whereas a lot of other games are fun, but I'm just going through the motions.
Yeah. But you know what? Fuck Dark Souls. It's too hard. No. I did see a video. I didn't watch all of it, I must confess, but there was a dude that went through all of the Souls games without getting hit.
Yeah.
It's actually up on YouTube, I think, which is pretty impressive.
Right. There's people who can finish the game.
Speed run it.
In like an hour or two when I can't finish it in as many days as I want to try playing the game, and then there's the ones that are just smart asses where they'll do like boss fights naked. I'm here trying to get the best gear just so I can just survive, and they're just running around. Yeah, I don't need armor, I don't need weapons, I just bam, done. And you watch
I'm just gonna punch this guy to death. Yeah.
There's some insane people out there. And I really appreciate the dedication that it takes to actually be that good at something. A lot of people are naturally good. Like someone who can play COD might then pick up Battlefield and just be really good at it. But the people who do these like speed runs and things like that, they've really mastered that specific game. And I always find that really impressive that someone can be that dedicated and love a game that much. And I think, it's a sign of a really good game that people want to do that. Like Mario 64, people still do that. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the speed runs and the people that find out these glitches, and the fact that people are still to this day like finding new glitches for games that came 20 plus years ago and can now, do a game in less than 5 minutes due to certain glitches and things like that. I think Morrowind, if I remember correctly, can be done in like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I might have to try that.
You have to pick a scroll out of, like, pickpocket someone who has a scroll, and you use that, and you fly up, and you get to the end, and you do this, and like literally in a couple of minutes, they finish the entire game just in the speed run.
Awesome. All right. Speaking of speed runs, I think I'm just about out of speed for this episode, mate. I'm pretty sure Mike might be asleep.
I'm awake.
He's nodding off there. Aaron, one last thing you wanted to talk about Google, I think.
Oh, yeah, actually, something very exciting. Google Stadia, their new game streaming service, which looks absolutely cool. Unfortunately, here in Australia, we probably won't get it because it does depend on a fast internet connection. So basically, rather than buy the game, download it and own it, you can rent it, more basically like the Netflix of games. They've got their own controller and it's Google, so you know they're going to do it properly. They'll probably take all of your personal information while doing it, but you won't care because you'll be playing Dark Souls or something similar.
They already have all your details.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really cool, and I'll probably keep you guys updated when we know more. It's only just been launched, but yeah, keep your eye on that if you're a fan of games.
Did I see that it was a minimum 30 megabit connection?
Yeah, I think so. So it's going to need some hefty bandwidth, and it won't work over here unless Google put like a dedicated node or server over here. There's no way that you could stream a graphically intensive game, you know, like I don't know, what looks pretty at the moment.
Everyone still does Crysis.
Yeah, Crysis, like, or Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that. You couldn't stream something with that many assets because, you know, it's just the connection you would need is just not realistically available in Australia. And if it is, the lag will be that bad on it. It's just not going to be worth playing. So it'd be interesting to see whether Google thinks Australia is a big enough investment to bring a node over here, though. It'll be something to keep our eye on.
Not with the state of our network. I mean, I get 5 to 10.
Well, if we had something based in Australia, it might not be so bad. Like then you could get local caching and things like that, which would assist. That's why it took Netflix so long to come to Australia as well, because the lag from overseas was just made it useless. But Netflix now have local nodes and servers, so that's the reason we now get, you know, decent Netflix out here. So just imagine that, but a more content-heavy connection. So you'd probably have to be on a good NBN connection and probably not out in the bush. So that probably rules us out. So Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, enjoy your streaming games. Fuck you. And that was probably premature, but you know what?
Yeah, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
If only Mike could work technology.
Yeah, fucking technology.
But that's about it from me. That's all I have to say. We will come back and revisit Stadia once it gets a little bit more off the ground and some more stuff happens with it.
What about you, Mike? You got anything else to throw in?
Yeah, I've got something to throw in. I'm going to go to another LARP in April.
What kind of LARP?
It's going to be, LARPing. It's going to be a fantasy thing. Now, this is the LARPing that I did last time. So when I did that, it was a different style. Not different style. It was the design of a particular theme. So you had a world, you had races, and you had everything in between. Now they've decided to go in a Warhammer theme. And for people who don't know what Warhammer thing, we'll Google it. It is it's a type of game that has a very similar theme, but it's a preset, how would you say, timeline. So I would think the organisers got a bit lazy, or one of them particularly is a big Warhammer fan, and he was like, let's do this. We're going to, and because considering Games Workshop has actually become a bit lax in the whole licensing and the whole, if you want to breathe, then you must pay. So they've gone, all right, we'll let you do this. And so what it is you'll be based particular characters. For the lore-wise people out there, the nerds, it's in not the Badlands, Borderlands, the Borderland princes. You'll have like you'll have a Bretonian empire. I think you might have maybe vampire counts, I can't remember. And they'll be doing that. It's going to be interesting, going to be different, be a change of pace.
So people dress up as these races, is that right? The Bretonian race, the vampire races, all that kind of stuff. Is that what happens? They dress up like that, or?
Yes, they should. I'm doing 3 characters where one of them, technically, one of them is a North. He's a Viking chaos, but not chaos. And
so is this the one with the big dudes in like mad armor and stuff?
So, well, yes, but no.
Mike explaining things.
I'm Googling as we speak.
They are chaos, but they're not chaos. And in the towns, you can't really be chaos unless you're out in the forest. So it's a bit odd. But anyway.
So what makes someone chaos? Like, is that a specific race of people or a religion, or what makes someone chaos?
Making someone chaos is pretty much an evil character, a bad guy. And you could dress up like with horns. You could dress up with the demon-looking things, spiky bits. You can do a lot of make yourself look disease-ridden, full of blood, on a bloodthirsty, or like one of the races that are in the actual Warhammer world. So it's completely up to the person to design it. So a lot of cosplayers could actually get into it if they wanted to do a Warhammer thing. So my characters were like a Viking guy who's from Nausicaa, and I've got an Empire Inquisitor. It's got the old like Van Helsing style hat and whatever and trench coat, and then there will be a Bretonnian, which is fairly new for what I'm doing. So Bretonnian is a French-ish knight. I plan to have a French accent, I think. French accent? Yeah, French. Let's go with French because it is a French from Britannia. And the Empire, which is a human, will be a German. I think I'm going to go with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And, for the Sigma, and then the Nausicaa guy, I'll just be normal.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean, most I usually just go down for a week of drinking.
We scheduled the last battle on the Sunday for late in the afternoon because everyone got pissed on the Saturday night, and so no one fought on Sunday morning.
With drinking as well, it used to be good where you could bring your own drinks and you could have slabs of drinks and cider and mead and stuff. And nowadays it's mostly they have licensed taverns and everything's licensed, everything's sold through them. You can't drink outside elsewhere. You've got to drink in the tavern or just outside the tavern. Yeah, you can't really do much with it, but
yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, if you want to drink in the tavern, you drink in the tavern and you have a chat, which is not too bad. Last time we had it in Kara Castle, it was just very mucho expensive. So, but again, if you don't spend it there, you'll spend it somewhere else.
So is it more drinking or more fighting?
Well, I mean, it's a bit of both. Nowadays, it's more fighting than it is drinking. Depending on the situations and what's happening around, people will either drink or they'll fight. And then, sometimes you do both. So, and then, it's a good time just to unwind, really.
So are you going to film that on your new S10 that I believe you're getting?
You get like a GoPro and like gaffer tape it to your head or something.
I'm taller than most, so it will, be like I could wear a GoPro on my head and just look down at people and be a top view. So, yeah, people, some have worn cameras on their heads to do GoPros and stuff, but you've always got the risk of people hitting it.
Oh.
And it's not exactly fun.
But you are pretty tall.
Yeah, thanks. I'm pretty tall. Fucker.
Well, my point was more, if you being taller than everyone else, having a GoPro strapped to your head means you're probably less likely to get hit in the GoPro than the average dwarven human.
Well, there's a funny story where I ran around with a battering ram and they had some guy, he spent time on it. He put a goat's head on it, like a ram's head. I think it was out of resin or it was actual, probably resin. Anyway, so I'm swinging this battering ram around like a ram, I suppose, like a log. And we're going to attack these people in their camp. And I'm like, worship the ram, ram it to you. Being very pun-o-matic. And this crazy bitch, she smacked the top of the head. and broke the fucking horn. And we're all like, no. The whole thing just lost steam. We're all like, no, you've killed the ram. Fuck it. Oh, my God. And she's like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, why would you do that?
So she knew your weakness.
No. Well, I don't know what she fucking, maybe I was throwing it in her face. Like I was, having it, annoying her. But she just kind of, I don't know why she would hit this fucking ram in the head and break the fucking thing. So I had to go and fix it. And she's like, oh, I'll fix it. I'm sorry. And we're like, nah, fuck you. We're leaving. Don't want to attack you anymore. And we all lost some steam. So, like speaking of which, they might be bringing back sieging of camps. Or back in the day we used to do everyone had a camp and you have walls and you could siege the walls.
Mm.
And how does that work out in terms of rules and storyline?
Well, the rules still very much the same. If you get hit, you have points and they go down as you get hit. Sieges, if you want to attack a gate, you have, say the gate has 100 points. So you've got to hit the thing 100 times and survive. And then the gate is destroyed or maybe a wall is destroyed. And so that's just like extra points of contact. So you can just keep fighting through. And then what they've done now, the last time they did, there was like one fort and everyone fought to get in that fort. And then I think now it's probably another one fort where we've all got to attack to get into that fort, which brings everyone together because a lot of last time it was people were marching. Like funny story was they'd be marching past a camp and everyone in the camp would be like, oh shit, we're being attacked. Get ready, everyone get ready. So, we're all throwing the armor, we're all throwing this thing, we're all ready, and they just keep walking past to attack someone else. And you're like, fuck you cunts, we're having lunch. And, I'm guilty of doing that with the band I was with. We would just kind of annoy everybody by going, oh, we're on the warpath, and we're screaming and everyone's getting ready like during lunch. And then they'd be like, fuck you guys.
Love it.
So sometimes it is a heck of a lot of fun, and it is what you make it, I suppose. On the week, like it goes for a week, and you do, I drink, and then you have a big fight on the Saturday, and then everyone goes home on Sunday. And then we all drink on the Saturday night, so that the Sunday we all get hungover and we pack up, and then. Sometimes I could just wish I could split myself in two. So one would be a fighter and we'd be fighting, and then the other side of me would be taking photos of me. So, or taking photos of other people. And just, there's a lot of photographers there and they do a lot of good jobs. But again, you only see one or two pictures of yourself. You're like, I wish I had more. But yeah, so we'll see how we go.
Love it. We'll have to expect a report from you.
I'll see what I can do about report back to you and tell you how it went.
All right. Well, we might wrap it up there, but quite a good episode. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Aaron.
Hey.
And thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
To everyone listening, please hit us up with some comments and that kind of stuff. We should be getting the content out a lot more regularly now that we're back. But please throw us a like and a comment and share it around. Anything you want to do, just hit us up on the Reddit or the Facebook and we'll happily follow it up for you. Thanks everyone for listening.
See you later.
We'll see you next week. Adios.
You have been listening to the S.O.A.P podcast. Join us again soon for another episode, and don't forget to hit us up on all the social media platforms because we love hearing from you.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Yeah, because I'm back. It's just dropping in and out. I don't fucking know. It just drops in and out. It just says not responding. I didn't touch nothing. It just goes not responding. And then it jumps back into action. Yes, as far as I know. Fuck technology, Dan. Fuck it all to hell.